guys, so I've owned this Izzo for a month now and thought this would be a good chance to just go over my first month impressions as well as just kind of what I've changed about the bike and why I've done that. So I'm just going to start things off in the cockpit area here. Now, up first, the stem. It comes with a 60mm stem. I've replaced this with a 40mm stem. It also comes with 760 bars that have a 20mm rise, and I have replaced it with 800 bars that have a 35 rise. Now why I've done that is I found the initial riding position was quite far over the front, and I just wanted to bring it back a little bit and up a little bit so that it would be easier to bunny hop the bike, a bit more playful on the trail, you know, all those cliche bike review words that everyone uses, but hey, we use them for a reason, and that's why I did it. The grips have also changed. Now that's related to my last video, which is the first problem I had with my Izzo, and that was that the SRAM twist lock grip that comes with it failed. It was constantly releasing and just locking my suspension out on the downhills. It was very annoying, and that happened about 3 weeks into owning the bike. I haven't actually even heard back from YT about that after about a week now, so that's pretty annoying. But luckily, I was able to find this lockout lever for 15 bucks on Amazon, and it's pretty low profile, works great, and as a bonus I can run my own grips. These are Deity knuckle dusters. Kind of just threw them on there because I had them in my closet, but as a nice bonus they fit. And I'm going to take a break while that plane flies over. Another thing I've done is I actually tapped the steer tube so that I could run a 1UP Components EDC tool in there. That was very easy to do. And luckily YT left enough extra steer tube that I was able to do that. Moving on to the fork. So it actually did come with 3 volume spacers. I know I said in a previous video that it came with 0, and I was just going off reviews on that, but I finally got the tool to let me open it up. I looked inside, there's already 3 in there. So I've upped that to 5 now, and the bike feels a lot more progressive, but I'm going to be playing with that as we go on. If you can even count it as a mod, put a Jody Landa Rough AF sticker on the top tube here. You know, long live Jody. Alright, the saddle. This is a WTB Volt saddle. I just got this because I had one on my offering and I really liked it, and I really did not like the SDG saddle that came on the Izzo. I found it to be very uncomfortable. So this was the first thing I bought for the bike, and I much appreciate it. I mean, there's just like a metal water bottle cage. I don't even know. It's just aluminum, nothing fancy. I want to get the YT one, but it's out of stock, so I'll buy it when I can. These are Crank Brothers Mallet E pedals. They go great with the bike. And as far as modifications, I think that's everything. I've talked about changing the tires, but I haven't done that. I really like how fast rolling these tires are, and the trails are starting to dry up pretty nicely here, so it's not going to be as wet. I'm going to give these a shot, at least through the summer months, and maybe in the winter time I will change them back. Alright, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of wear and tear that's happened on the bike as well. Okay, so I've had this bike for a month, and you can see here that paint has worn away here and up here from foot rub. Now it does come with this protective sticker here, but it doesn't cover quite enough, and that paint is rubbing away. It's also rubbing away on the other side. You can kind of see it there. So if you guys really care about that, that's something you might want to protect. Actually, I think that's it as far as wear and tear goes. I did put a All Mountain style protection kit on the down tube there, as well as the seat tube and the chain stays. I think it looks pretty bad, to be honest, but Hey, it protects the bike. Here's something to keep in mind if you've got big feet like me. Now this is the axle, and it goes down this way to release, which is maybe a bit of a problem if you ride with your right foot forward and you have big feet, because you could be kicking this axle with your foot. Now I ride with my cleats pretty far forward, like about here, so my foot's not in the way there. But if you run with them back a little bit, you could be kicking that, which would not be great. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's give that a shot. Alright, well, now that I've been riding the Izzo for 1 month, I guess I can give you my 1 month impressions of the bike. I'm going to go over climbing, descending, and then just a few minor gripes that I have with the bike, but really there's nothing major. So, talking about climbing. Now, I do have a limited experience with this sort of bike, but in my opinion the Izzo climbs quite well. At 28.4 pounds or 12.9 kilograms, this is by far the lightest mountain bike I've ever ridden, and the fast rolling tires on the Izzo really help get it up those hills quickly and efficiently as well. Another factor is, of course, the remote lockout. I'm not going to say that the bike pedals poorly when the shock is open, but you can still feel a pretty drastic and immediate difference when you lock the suspension out. As I've ridden the bike over the last month, I've beat pretty much every climb PR that I've taken it on, and some of those I even set with my old gravel bike, so that's saying something at least. Now, talking about descending. The Izzo is certainly not as plush or confidence-inspiring as a big enduro bike, but that's okay. That's not what the Izzo is for. And with a 66-degree head tube angle and a wheelbase that approaches 1300 millimeters, it's not like this is some super short, steep cross-country race bike either. When it comes to the more techy and chunky trails that we have here in BC, I don't feel vastly outgunned when it comes to the bigger stunts or more intimidating looking stuff. I might have to pick a more careful line to get down some parts of the trails, but that's alright. Where the bike really shines though is the smoother, fast, flowy trails. If you let off the brakes, the bike just seems to pedal itself, and every little bump it wants to jump. It's a very fun bike. It being super light, and after changing the stem and handlebars, it just super easy to bunny hop. Very fun bike on that sort of trail. Now, do I have any gripes with the bike? Well, sure, it's not without faults. The biggest one obviously being that the lockout grip broke. I only had the bike for 3 weeks and it just stopped working. Luckily that was an easy fix, but it's still pretty frustrating. Another gripe is the 760mm bars on a size extra large bike. I mean, really? Why couldn't they just put 800mm bars and let people cut them down to their size? You can cut bars easily, but you can't grow bars. They also cut the steer tube very short. With the stock stem, there's only a couple extra millimeters to play with. And with the shorter one I put on, it's got a little bit of extra room, which was enough that I could install that 1-up tool, but it's really short. It would be nice if I had some room to put spaces under there so I could play with the stack height. Speaking of things that are too short, it only comes with a 170mm dropper post. It would be nice if it came with a 200mm dropper post, but I guess Fox doesn't even make a 200mm transfer yet. And my final gripe is probably pretty location dependent, but it comes with 175mm cranks. Personally, I would actually prefer 170 or even 165mm cranks, and that's because the climbs around here can get pretty rough and pedal strikes are far from uncommon, let's just say. If they were a bit shorter, it would just help me avoid some of those, but it's also not something that I'm going to go out and replace to fix. Alright, well that's just about all I've got. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, I would be really appreciative if you could hit like, maybe even subscribe. If you feel like there's anything I didn't cover or you've got some other questions, drop it in the comments. I do read them all, so I will probably respond to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.